Episode of Grief and Let's Talk About It podcast. I am your host, Tony Lynch, and today we got another amazing guest. You know how we do it. We always bring in amazing stories, and today we have it's no exception. We have another amazing person, Christine Gold. She is a mentor, she is a healer, and she's a medium. And she has an amazing story. You guys don't want to miss this. So you know what to do before we get started. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and let us know what you think about it. Christine, how you doing today?
I am well. Every day above ground is a blessing.
Yes, yes, yes. And thank you for being on the show today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the connection and all the work that you're doing. We
I, appre-
appreciate it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the work that you're doing as well. We got to talk before we got the recording and everything. And so you was telling me that you're a medium, right? And
hmm
a healer and a mentor. And but first off, can you tell people where you're from?
I'm in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Awesome, awesome. Oh, how is the fires up there? How are they treating you up there?
They're pretty much done. Although as we were talking about the weather, everything is changing. So what normally happens in spring is now been, fast forward a couple months. So
Okay.
um, yeah. And wildfire season seems to come earlier and earlier because it's drier and drier.
That's true. That's
hmm
true. That's one of the things out here in Colorado. Just like you said, it starts earlier and earlier each year. You know, we've been pretty fortunate this year, not too many wildfires, but I'm pretty sure they're coming as the weather starts to get hotter. And now that the 4th of July is coming up, I'm pretty sure we're going to get, somebody out there going to set something on fire. It never fails. What? Let's burn some stuff. So, tell people how you got into the work that you're doing. How did you get into being a medium?
Oh my goodness. I honestly, people, as a child, I always was reading the room, reading energy. Empath, old soul. Those are terms that people might be familiar with and maybe not, but basically wearing your heart on your sleeve. Knowing when adults were telling me something, but it wasn't matching their energy. So almost like a lie detector in a way. And animals, have a beautiful relationship with them, and I still do. We're very much, two peas in a pod. So if there are a lot of people that are going, yeah, that's why I love having cats or dogs or whatever it happens to be, there's a reason for it because it's an unknown, unspoken energy between animals and people that resonate as being highly sensitive. And it's a gift and not a curse. And actually, it's a superpower. I actually have done a talk, quite a few speaking engagements about sensitivity and as a superpower. So, because a lot of us, including myself, felt like we were crazy. We don't fit in. We're the black sheep of the family.
Yes.
And, the only thing that fits in a box is a cat and loves to be in a box. So, don't fret. I always ask people to just be themselves and be authentic. Whereas growing up, I was told to be otherwise. We don't talk about that. We don't believe in, the other side. There's no such thing as psychics. That's crazy. That's too woo woo. So you start to shut it down. And that's exactly what happened. And it manifested as depression, anxiety, and two attempts to die by suicide as well. And I've been on medication. I've tried everything until one of my mentors, she's an internationally known medium. I saw a video and she said basically you're very intuitive, you're psychic. You just don't know it.
Right.
And I was like, okay, wow. Instead of giving me a medication or a prescription or going to see a counselor for years, and I'm not knocking any of them. However, if I could have fast tracked to that, I'm sure I'd be in a different space now. But at the same time, that was part of my journey. So there was no easy button.
Right. Yes.
Um, Otherwise, you'd be circling back again like the dog likes to chase its tail. I like that analogy too. The dog is the only one that enjoys it, right? So
Depending. Depending.
so I actually had to overcome my imposter syndrome by recording a video explaining why I wanted to work with her. And I got it. So 6 months later, through a lot of healing, a lot of dark night of the soul, a lot of stuff. It was dark, a lot of grieving, a lot of trauma, and just working and looking at myself instead of looking on the outside for answers, because there will never be an answer there. It's always inside.
Yeah.
It's an inside job, as they say. So I came out of the closet, and we used to laugh about that. But actually, if you think about it, we feel we have to be in a closet because society tells us there's something wrong with us.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. So
Yeah.
I want to tell anybody or whoever's listening, and no, I always say I don't subscribe to that. No. That's basically someone placing their stuff on you, whether it's your family, whether it's school, your friends. They have no idea who you are and what you've been through. It's, it's all conditioning, and we're all unlearning, basically,
Oh man. I love
and
that.
stepping into who we truly are.
Right.
We're all children of God. God is first in my life. And I get some eyebrows because to be like, well, don't you dabble in the occult? Aren't you a witch? Don't you work with dark? Isn't that evil? And I'm like, no, actually, I work with light, and that's all I do.
See,
So
I love
that's,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that because I love I love a lot of things that you said. I'm gonna circle back to one of them, because a lot of times people do have the misconception that, when you say that, hey, like I'm a medium, this is what I do. Automatically they go, oh, there's something wrong with you, right? Or they always think that, what I'm saying, you have you're working with evil spirits, or
yeah.
they get afraid. I get a lot of that. Oh man, I don't mess with that right there. I don't want to invite nothing inside of my home, or anything like that. And I'm not a medium. I'm very intuitive. I am very, very intuitive on a lot of things. Like I pick up on people's feelings.
Yeah.
You know, um,
So you're an empath.
I'm a very sensitive empath.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can be in a room and someone can be sad, and automatically a tear come down my face, and someone would go, "What's wrong with you?" And I have to look at them and go, "This isn't me. It's just not me." And as being a male, right? We're taught not to go to those emotional places, right? We got to be strong. I saw that right there. You got to be strong. And so when I'm doing these things, people are like, man, you got to buck up. And I'm going, I can't. It's not me. I cannot help it. And so then eventually, for some odd reason, I can look around the whole room and pinpoint where it comes from, and I can walk over to that individual, and I won't let them know that I'm feeling it. But I for some odd reason, I can strike up a conversation with this individual, and they will open up to me. You know.
That's a beautiful gift.
Yeah, and I love it. That's why I got into the grief work, because it was something that I knew that I could carry, right? But I also know how to release it as well. So when I pick up on it, it's like I can extract information from it, and I'm able to learn from it and dispose of it. And that way, when it comes back to that individual, it comes back in a different form. And these people tend to, if they accept it, if they're open to receiving it, they can then start to walk the path of healing. And 9 times out of 10, I'm able to. They invite me to walk with them, and I think that's just for me, a beautiful thing, because yeah, I want someone to walk with me as well. I wanted someone to walk with me as well when I had to go through my terrible seasons,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. But it also, trips people out when I tell them, when they ask, what religion I am, I go, I'm not of any religion. I'm a child
God has
of
no religion.
God. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I'm right there with you. God has no religion. Religion was never mentioned in the Bible. And so and they go, why? I said, well, I believe religion is something that's meant to separate people,
Yeah.
you know?
Suppress, repress.
Right, right, you
Yep,
know?
yep.
And so when what are some of the reactions when you tell people, about the work that you do? And then we'll get into being a mentor and also the healing work as well, you know. But what are some of the reactions? Because if it's anything like mine, I'm just gonna be like, yep, totally understand.
Well, I mean, most of my friends and family were like, "Yeah, we already knew that."
Okay.
But strangers, I get the eyebrow raised. Some people step back. It's fun. It's fun to watch. And my son is always reminding me, "Mom, why do you do that?" I'm like, "'Cause I like to stir things up a little bit, just just to see what I can say and what I can't say,
Yeah,
you know? And I don't feel we should be able to not have to say, not say something. We should be able to speak our truth and who we are. Whereas we've been told as a society not to speak our truth, not
right,
to stand up for
right,
ourselves, not to
right.
be a rebel. I think of Gandhi, I think of Martin Luther King Jr., I think of all of, those people, they were rebels with a cause. There's the difference. You got to have a cause. And my cause is to let others know, like yourself and anybody else, that step into who you truly are. Come on out, shine your light unapologetically,
Yeah.
and let's. This is really about community and creation. But going back to, you know, I used to be all worried, concerned, and that was part of my trauma and my ultra independence and but codependent at the same time. I'm worried about what other people think until Wayne Dyer, bless his soul, said, "It's none of my business what other people think." And I'm like, yes, there's freedom right there. That's freedom. That's what life is about. This is
Yes.
who I am. And to judge, I mean, that's part of it. People are judging.
And
That's
never
all it is. And the fear. And
yes,
fear is just,
yes.
it's a lie.
Yes. And I'm right there with you. When it comes down to judging, I always tell people, I have no place to judge anyone, because I'm no better than the next person. So
Hmm.
why would I want to judge the next person, especially on their past or, where they're going at in their future? Now, what I would do if I see someone, because I do talk with some of the youth and I see them making some of the mistakes, some of the things, going down the path of I'm very familiar with, right? I tend to not try to tell them what to do, but I kind of look at them and go, hey man, I can't tell you what to do, but this path that you're on, being as young as you are, um, it's either going to lead a couple places, and I can't determine which place is going to lead. Only you can do that. But only thing that I can ask of you and even pray for you is that you make a good decision. Because right now, if you make the wrong decision, you're not going to like how your life ends up. It's going to be filled with a lot of things that you're not prepared for.
That's
But
right.
now, if you look at life in a different way and understand that the beauty and grace has been given to you and around you, and if you open to receive that, I can almost guarantee that you can have anything that you want out of this life because this life will show you something different. Don't follow the path that you see other people see what we used to like to call in the hood your mentors, so to speak.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I'm very careful because I try not to glorify it or anything like that. But I tell them if you follow that individual right there, before you do, look at his life. This person is 48, 50 years old, and they're still doing the same thing. Now ask yourself if that's what you want, then by all means follow his lead. But if you want something other than that, there's something around the corner that's a whole lot better than this, but you're going to have to make some sacrifices. You're going to have to get away from this right here. You have to be willing to learn something new, and be receiving to letting God guide you in
Hmm.
a direction that, he sees fit for you, and not be afraid to step into who you are, right?
Yeah. And is this coming from a place of love or from fear? And what do you see in that person that you think is missing in yourself? I like to reframe questions on
No,
people.
I understand that. Yes, I know
Yeah.
that.
Because I mean, just like me, I have everything on the end of my nose, that's all I see. Or the nail in the forehead story is that's all you see is that nail in the forehead. You cannot see anything else.
Right.
So when someone else comes along, they can see the blinders that you have, the blind spots.
Hmm.
Yeah. But are we open to that?
Right. And I know for well, just like yourself, coming from a place where um I wasn't taught a lot of things. And so I had to figure things out. And so for almost 46 years, 47 years, I had to wander. I wandered from this place to that place. And I was that person. I was afraid, right?
You
You
were in the
know,
valley.
yeah, I was in the valley walking around, but I wasn't afraid of what the next person could do to me. I was pretty much afraid of people getting close to me because I had lost so many people, right? That it felt comfortable with me being alone. And if
Mhm.
I can move around, because I didn't have anything, everything had already been taken away from me. So I wasn't afraid of losing anything, but I was afraid of people getting close to me. Because my motto was when I was younger, why would I let someone get close to me if they're just gonna leave?
Yeah.
And I know it wasn't their fault because a lot of them died. They were killed.
Mhm.
Not they just didn't pack up and leave. They died, and I was there and I watched everything, and so I always told myself, whatever this thing is that follows me around, it will not allow me to get close to anyone.
Yeah.
But I'm always where I need to be in those moments. And
Mhm.
I was afraid that I was afraid to let people in because I was like, if I let you in, this thing is going to take you. So I was afraid to embrace it and really see my truth in it. Right. And I realized there was no such things as coincidence. I realized that there is something different, that follows me. So talking about being sensitive and being an empath and things like that, it was automatic. I could tell who was about to do what, when, and where, and
Mhm.
I was just always there. You know,
Yeah, you can call yourself an earth angel if you'd like. It's the same. I mean, you're very much grounded in the earth and you're here to, guide others towards their light or whatever that happens to be. And I get it. There's a lot of folks that like myself have the abandonment wound
mhm,
and intergenerational trauma as well. I mean, I used to be so angry at my father, but then, now realizing what I realize, he was doing the best that he could with what he had,
right,
and so on and so forth. So when we can forgive them, we forgive ourselves. That's where we are the chain breakers. This is what we're doing right now.
yes,
We're freeing ourselves.
we open up the doors for others to be able to walk freely in their selves as well.
Hmm.
I never really looked at it that way. So thank you for that perspective. I've always just looked at it as if, this is who what I'm meant to do, right? This
Yeah,
is
that's
my
part of your
purpose.
purpose.
Right, right,
Um, but I just see it, as how do we even, um, I mean, it's just been a lot of conditioning. That's really all it
right.
is. And if we could be kind to ourselves,
Mm,
because I feel like I used to be my worst critic.
mm,
Like
yes,
I could be harsher than anybody else. And now I laugh. I mean, laughter, if you're done crying, try laughter.
I like
I
that.
mean, some things are so ridiculous, you just have to laugh. Some things are so absurd, you have to laugh. If you make a mistake, oops, and laugh. I mean, what's the big I mean, animals especially, they show us unconditional love. They
Yes,
show us how to play. They show us how to have fun. So, and our children as well, our grandchildren, the kids, watch them. You can learn so much.
I do that. because I'm a big kid myself. So it's funny that you said that because my friends, they all have children and everything. And so they make the mistake, at least I tell them, they make the mistake of saying, Tony, can you watch our kid for a little bit? And I look at them and go, yeah. And as soon as they do that, me and the kids, we look at each other and we start eyeballing each other like, as soon as they walk away, it's on, buddy. So, so then when the parents come back, they're like, what happened to the house? Because the house is all messed up. And I'm like, look, for one, it's not my fault. Y'all left me alone with your kids and everything. They jumped me and we got into a fight, and one thing led to another. All in all, it was not my fault. It was theirs. And the kids are like, no, he started it.
Yeah, I just see a lot of wrestling and yeah,
Oh, all the
that's
time.
what I see.
All the
Yeah,
time.
okay.
Oh yeah, if we can get it to crayons or paint or something like that. Oh no, we're not using paper. We're not.
It's all physical.
Oh yeah, we paying. I'm
Yeah.
paying the kids. They paying me. So needless to say, I don't know why my friends keep asking me to watch their kids. You think that they would learn, right?
Well, because they know that they had a good time and they're worn out. I think that's the biggest thing is, a lot of our kids spend too much time on a screen or whatever,
No,
right? So
God,
if you can get
yes.
them to play and to physically be drained,
Oh yeah.
perfect.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, then there will be, we're not even going to get into ADHD and all that, but I mean, that's part of it as well. But that's trauma too. All of
Yes.
those. I mean, that would be a whole nother podcast because I've been a vegan for a year and a half. I mean, I have a whole nother story. I actually sold everything I owned in 2021 and went to South America for 6 months after seeing Machu Picchu on YouTube 2 years before that. So spirit has always been leading me. It's whether you pay attention,
Yeah.
those breadcrumbs, and don't dismiss it. I work with people to get them to find out more about their chakras, more about intuition, claircognizance, clairalience, all of your clairs, and then start to play games with spirit where because it's a muscle, intuition is a muscle. And if you don't use it, you lose it, just like anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Now being a mentor,
Hmm.
you find, and I love what you're saying. I want to tap into that just a little bit. Do you find that when the younger the individual, the stronger the intuition?
Absolutely.
I kind of
They're already preloaded. These
right.
crystalline, crystal indigo rainbow kids that are coming in, they're
Hmm.
already preloaded. I call them preloaded to
Yeah.
where I am, to where we are right now. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I have clients that tell me, my daughters tell me grandma's coming to visit, and I encourage her to write in a journal and keep a dream journal, which is something I recommend to everyone as well. Gratitude journal, dream journals, because you get more information. And a lot of times it's for other people, it's not for yourself. But she says, I was in star system M45. And, let's say 5 years before, people be like, that's crazy. There's something wrong. But a lot more people are going, yeah, we are extraterrestrial. And tell me more about it.
I like that. I love that you said that because I always felt that always felt strange, you know, because of the way that my mind thinks, right? I always look at the world but I see beyond it
Yep.
in a lot of ways. And it's like, I wonder if I'm able to connect every cell in my body to the universe. And if so, how will I evolve mentally
Mm.
and
Well,
and
we are
consciously,
evolving mentally.
right?
I mean, the
And
golden age
consciously,
right now.
right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned something which brought me back to an old native saying, and I think it was someone from either Apache or Choctaw. Um, they said the world will be saved by the children that are coming, and they shall be the rainbow children. So what they, and then when you see the things today, I'm pretty sure that's not what they meant. But I'm pretty sure there's something different. There's a different the children that are coming up now, I think that they're a little bit more advanced than we are.
Yeah, they absolutely are.
Yeah, and very
Yeah.
fast up here. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and I take that and I go, wow, that you can learn a lot if you just sit around and look at it, right? But also be open to allowing yourself to evolve consciously and subconsciously into the universe, and allowing that to manifest into the world.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how, it's as quick as a thought. That's how manifestation works.
Yeah.
Once you put it out, and it's not who, what, when, where, why, and how it's going to happen, it's knowing it's going to happen.
Right.
There's the difference.
See, I like that. I definitely like that.
I
Now,
mean, every Sunday morning, I'm watching Lakewood Church. I
okay.
I fill my Sundays up with as much positivity as possible. I'm always learning and being a student of the universe. I am not a guru, and the age of guru is gone.
Yes. Yes. It was, I used to see people, and I never understood the terminology guru, right? Because I watched what they did, and I was just like, oh, that hurts my head. It hurts my
You
head to
sound like
watch.
me. I would turn it off. I'm like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah,
Do it. Yeah.
I used to go to church every Sunday. Then I realized that the church was me,
Hmm.
and I'm able to
Absolutely.
hold that all the time, and to build a relationship with my father, and to be open to what his guidance, right?
Hmm.
The guidance that's there for me, but also be open to the discipline,
Mm.
because sometimes I don't always make good decisions, right? I want to make good decisions all the time, but I'm a human being. And sometimes the discipline comes and it's like, you're gonna have to pay for this. And I'm just like, well, but I didn't, come on now, give me a break, you know. Um, but I've also been very receptive to it now, very open to being closer,
Hmm.
right? Being open to um just the things I did not understand. The
Yeah.
connection that I now have, not only with God, but with the people. I call them now my ancestors, because that's what they are now. They are my
Hmm.
ancestors, young and old. I'm open to listening to their guidance,
Yeah.
to the future, but also being open to being humble, being
Yeah,
open
that's the
to,
biggest one.
yeah, being humiliated, right? Being in a state of humility, to accept the humbleness, and to know when there are some battles that I can't fight,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I got off my soapbox a long time ago.
Yeah. See, I understand. See, I'm learning that now. I'm definitely learning that. It's just like, okay, like what are the next steps, right?
Yeah, and I've learned this as well, that knowledge is an understanding,
Mhm.
wisdom is an inner standing.
Mm, I like that.
You can tell somebody something blue till you're blue in the face, but until they make that switch,
Yeah.
then they're like, "Oh," I call it light bulb, I call it aha, I call it epiphany.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. And I truly believe that we are all God with a human spark. And we all signed souls contracts. Like when we came to Earth, I have a joke with my clients. They're like, "Where's my glasses? Where's the magnifying glass? I need to read the fine print." I didn't sign up for this family. I didn't sign up for this relationship, whatever I'm going through, whatever, or this illness.
Hmm.
Which, illness is basically suppressed emotion,
Yes.
plain and simple.
Yes. I've learned that just like yourself, having to go through the journey, and just like yourself, Well, I guess the question is, you mentioned that you've been in narcissistic relationships.
Yeah.
You know, how did that affect your journey coming up? And and what was the steps of healing from that and moving forward afterwards?
Honestly, it was a family wound.
Mm, okay.
There was an unworthiness in
Mm,
the family, not standing up for yourself. And when you're very sensitive and empathic, you're like a beacon. You're like the Batman signal in the sky for
yes.
narcissists. They love that energy. It honestly, it's through just having to go through it and then recognizing it like over and over again, but being quicker at going, "Oh, I see it. Oh, yeah, mhm." Um, and really having boundaries. Boundaries are huge, and saying no is a complete sentence.
Yes.
I used to have, oh, all these reasons why, and now I'm like, "No," or "I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm sorry, I don't have time for that." And that's it. I just walk away, and I keep people at a distance as well, meaning the people that don't respect my boundaries.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my mom, didn't know her worth, my dad especially, and he was married to someone who was I suspect bipolar, but as well, I suspect narcissist.
Mm,
So, just seeing all of that play out and then having bosses, I mean, the unholy trinity is religion, politics, and science.
mm,
And
yeah.
they're psychopaths and sociopaths run the world, but that is crumbling. All of our systems are crumbling, and people
Yes,
are
it is.
afraid. Where am I going to get my money or my job, my house, all of those things? But this all needs to be dismantled in order for us to build that new earth that everybody talks about. It's
Yes.
everything is going to be new, and of course, it's scary. We have no idea how it's going to happen. But when you're talking about community, that's where it's gonna happen.
That's exactly where it's going to happen. We talked about this before the recording, and
Mhm.
like I said, that's why I'm so focused on being in the communities, right? I'm so focused on serving them and giving, wanting to give them the tools to be better because, that's how everything changes. And someone asked me a long time ago, like, what do you mean? Well, think about it, right? For generations, our communities have been torn apart.
Mhm.
They've been pushed down under a thumb. They've been taught to depend on people for this, that, and the other. Whereas that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be that way. We allow the things that happen to our communities. Now we've gotten to a place to where if you see something, don't say it. Don't say anything. Right? You just mind your own business. And I'm a firm believer. No, get in there. If you see something, stop it. If
Yeah,
it's wrong, protect
agreed.
kids, protect the women, protect our elderly, because the elderly carries the stories and the wisdom that we need in order to carry on to be better, right? They carry morals and values that we as men and women and children we need. We need to listen to the storytellers, so we know how to be better, right?
Yep.
But also we have that instilled in us. And so being inside of the community, being able to share the things that I've gone through, these tools and resources and things like that changes the dynamic. Because once people start standing up for one another, well, we start to crumble down the world that's around us, this illusion.
Yeah.
And then people become advocates. Children have voices now. And then we can start pushing back. And like you said, that word no is a complete sentence. No, we're not going to do this anymore. We want better for ours, but we don't want to be dependent on you. Stop poisoning us in our food, stop poisoning our water,
Exactly.
stop
And
doing
our
the things
mind,
in our
everything.
minds, right?
Yeah.
And you see the way the world is today. They're coming after our children. That's something. Look, I'm a firm believer. I don't care what you do in your life. I really don't. You are a grown person. Leave our children alone.
Agreed.
Leave our children alone. If this
Mhm.
is your decision, you are, I'm okay with it being your decision, but do not take that away from our children. That's what I have a problem with. But we can't do it alone. That's why we need our parents. We need to get back to having two parents in a household, healthy parents, good parents, parents that can look at their children and go, no, no, that is not a good idea, right? And be able to teach them the right way.
Mhm.
And eventually, like you said, we have a whole new world coming, and this old world is starting to crumble behind us, which leads into my next question. Now, being a mentor in this day and age, what are some of the ups and downs that you go through trying to help people understand their path, or their path in this world?
No, honestly, ups and downs. I mean, it's every mentorship is unique.
Mhm.
It's um basically just being patient, absolutely patient when you know that they're going to have a complete train wreck.
Mhm.
It's their train wreck and it doesn't reflect on you personally because we all have choices in life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. We do.
Yeah, and you can choose to be happy and you can choose to be miserable. I guess the ups and downs is I used to want to help everybody and now I know I cannot.
Okay. Okay.
From a self-care perspective,
Mhm.
I cannot help everyone. I can do things like this or my podcast or do groups where I can spread the message, the information, the wisdom a little more quickly, right?
Mhm.
And then they can go help. So, the ups is seeing people grow and step into their true selves, true authentic selves, removing themselves out of harmful relationships as well. Those are huge victories
Yes.
personally, for them to have their aha moment.
I love that.
Yeah, for them to go, "Oh, I didn't know what you're talking about a couple weeks ago, but now, or even a couple months, like, whoa, okay." And when they're so excited to tell me, and I'm so excited to hear it. The downs, I guess, is again, I'm going to go back to wanting to help everybody. It's a, you know, it it's kind of a double-edged sword in a way,
Yes. Yes.
right? You're going to get wounded either way, right? It's what you do with that. I have to remember that, they're on their own journey.
Mhm.
And this is the information and this is what I've learned, and you can take what you want and leave the rest. That's, um, but honestly, it's really about doing the work. I will not work with people that don't want to do the work. I'm very adamant about that. Um, because when I first started, people just want an easy button,
Yeah.
quick fix.
Yeah.
Tell me what I need to know, and I'm like, you already do. So that's why I train others to develop their intuition,
Okay.
to heal themselves, to start their own businesses as well. I mean, I have 20 plus years in sales and marketing as well. So, you know, I have a wealth of knowledge. Now, what you want to do with it is completely up to you.
I like that. I definitely like that.
Hmm.
Now we get into the healing aspect, because in this line of work, healing is painful. It can be very painful. I know for um, individuals like myself, it has been very painful, but it's been very revealing as well, right? Because throughout the healing process, I learned that there was so many things that I had to go back and fix. Not really fix, but to heal from. And what I did is that I taught myself to go in a backwards motion in my life, from the time that I am, to go backwards. And I had to be truly honest with myself, because there was things in my present day that wasn't okay. right?
Mhm.
Things that I was doing, decisions that I was making, my mentality, my personality, my character, and things like that. I was carrying something with me. So I had to go back and I had to start to open up those doors and let those wounds, get inside those wounds and actually start to, like a surgeon, start to stitch it all up again, right?
Yeah.
And up until I was, and I became, for myself, I became the person that I needed from when I was 6 years old. And I was able to walk with that person once I went to that child and I saw the darkness in him. And I said, hey, as the man that I am now, I went to that child. I said, hey, no, come here. We got this. I'm not going to allow you to walk through this life alone. And I began to, in that moment, to begin to walk with that child up until teenage, up until, my 20s, 30s, 40s, until the man that I am now. And I was able to do that. Now, that's my journey. That's my healing journey. When it comes down to healing, what is your experience? Because you've had to walk a similar path to healing.
Hmm. And I like that you're saying you had to go back, because what happens when you don't heal a wound?
All right.
It comes back, it festers.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
a lesson or whatever that is, it comes back. And as you were talking, I was thinking about retrogrades, like Mercury retrograde or
Yes.
Venus or whatever. People used to panic and freak out. Oh my God, No, actually, it's a great time to go back and redo everything.
Yes, it is.
Slow down, reassess, whatever it is, realign. And that's exactly what it is. The more you avoid something, the more it's going to smack you in the face. I mean, sometimes that's what it takes
Yeah. Yeah.
for you to pay attention, right?
Headed. So,
Or my mom would say this too, I don't want to go there because it was too painful for her. She never unpacked her trauma.
mm,
So I grew up hearing that. And
okay.
now I go there. When you talk about inner child, that's actually that's what, week 3 in our 8-week mentorship, or one of the mentorships. We go back to the inner child and we heal that wound. We embrace, we love. We tell him or her, it's okay. I'm here. You're beautiful just the way you are. Let's walk, like you said, let's walk together. And then you can go to the rebellious teenager, and right, you're trying to, your identity and all of that, experimentation, living on the edge, all those things, right? You can go to
Yeah.
that teenager as well.
Yeah. I had to think about that for a minute because I was like, did I live? Yes, I did. I can't even deny that.
I don't know. I had so many times where I had angels save me, I tell you. I'm sure we both put ourselves in some interesting situations,
Oh,
right?
yes.
And how
Oh,
did we get
yes.
out of them? By the beauty of God.
But God and those angels,
Oh, yeah, "This isn't your time, Tony. This isn't your time, Christine." Okay.
yeah, because I can recall a moment that I should not have lived. Actually, two. First one,
So you had near-death experiences.
yeah.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, my intuition kicked in. I was at a party. This was at a New Year's. This is early '90s. No,
Mm.
late '90s.
Mhm.
And I was in a different place in my life. I was in the gangs. So I was real deep off into the gangs. Um, and I was at a party. I had been drinking and I was down in the basement. We was down there, the buddies, my friends are down there shooting dice, and I'm drinking, and my gut just would not let me go. Something just said, "Hey, you see that door right there? Walk out, leave now." Right, and I'm fighting. I'm like, I'm not going to leave. There ain't nobody here. And something just said, "You need to leave now." And I got mad enough to where I left. I
Yeah.
walked around, walked out the basement, walked around the side of the building, walked down to the front, was walking down the street. My fiance at the time came and picked me up. We drove off. I found out 2 days later that when I walked out the door, rival gang members had walked past my friends down the stairs with guns and everything, and my so-called friends let them. So I had been set up.
Wow.
They came to the basement looking for me, but I was already gone. They came down there to come kill me. 6 months later, I had my daughter with me, and I was taking her to the daycare. She was about 2 years old. I had her on my neck, and some rival gangbangers drove past me, and they started throwing gang signs out the window. And I got my daughter. I'm thinking to myself, it's going to be a pass. They're going to wait till I at least drop off my daughter, right, to do anything. I was very, very wrong.
Mm.
I was very wrong. They shot me 22 times, missed my daughter, and missed every vital organ. When they were done, I got up, took my daughter to the daycare, had them call social services, turned around, walked home, took a shower, got dressed, and sat on the couch and went to sleep and woke up in the hospital. Yeah, that's twice, right? But that's not the only times, though. Like I've had a few close calls. One of them that really saved my life is when I was sentenced to 5 years in prison.
Mm.
I ended up going to prison only to find out that there was several gangs, rival gangs, that was looking for me, and me going to prison saved me from them finding me. So
Wow.
that hit and miss, being homeless and everything. No one wants to be homeless, but I was there, 16 times, 17 times in my life. And every time, I was guided around, even though I didn't have a place to go or anything like that, I was always fortunate to find.
You were taken care of. You
Right,
always had,
yeah, I was
that's what I heard. Yeah.
so
You were divinely set up in so many ways.
yes, and I never
Yeah.
understood why, right? Because
These
because
are
like,
all like redirect.
yeah,
No,
like,
go
hey,
this way.
no, we're
No,
gonna
go
go
this
this
way.
way.
So when
It's
people
gonna
are
be
like,
painful.
I get this like billboard because that's basically what Spirit's trying to tell you. Hello. However
Yeah,
it comes through, those were a lot of billboard moments because they send subtle things, but a lot of times we're very distracted.
right. Yes,
Yeah.
distracted up here.
Yeah,
I didn't know how to
absolutely.
quiet this, and I didn't know
Yep. Yeah.
how to calm the pain in my heart. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my soul was so disturbed. It wasn't disturbed; it was confused because
Yeah.
it wanted to go. It was trying to guide me, and I was going. I was so stubborn, and I was like, "No, I need to go this way." And everything was going. No, you need to. I was like, "No, I'm gonna go this way." I was hard headed, right? I was
Yeah.
very hard headed. I was an angry kid. Uh,
Stubborn. I get it. So
Stubborn,
was
very
I.
angry.
We
See,
have a lot in common. I
yes,
mean,
we
I've
do.
been homeless only once, actually, no, twice, because people ask me, where do you live? And I'm like, nowhere. I go from pet sit to pet sit and travel the world. So,
Wow.
but that's because I want to. There's the difference.
Right. See, I never
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know.
I never wanted to, it was
Exactly. No, it's not. Homeless is just, there's a lot of homeless, and there's a
right,
lot of people that are living in homes where they're one paycheck away from being homeless.
right,
But
yes,
that started way before that. They already were, they had this huge hole in their soul,
right.
in a way. They didn't know where their home was, where
Yeah.
their center is.
It takes a long time
It
to
does.
figure out where that center is, and through a lot of discipline, humility, um, surrender, I was redirected and placed somewhere that I never understood, and people was brought into my life, um, and they began to help me, which was
Mhm.
something not familiar, right? And I've never had anyone say, "Hey, I'm going to help you get up on your feet," right? I'm pretty sure you probably see that with a lot of your clients as well. Like when people come through and say, "Hey, not everybody's out to hurt you." It takes a long time to get out of that mindset,
Yeah.
right? Because
It's a trauma response.
it's a trauma
It's a
response,
wall, it's a protection. I
right?
always say, put your armor down. You can rest, take it off.
So I could never put down my armor. Um, I guess you could say in a lot of ways, it was I'm a battle dog, right? I this is what I if you put me in a physical fight, I will fight to the very last drop.
Yeah,
but I
spiritual
can't.
warrior.
Right.
Hmm.
That's what I do. So I don't, when it comes down to it, it's like I wear my armor so I can protect those around me,
Yes.
and that's the reason why I never put it down. But it was letting people into the vulnerable parts of the armor
Yeah.
that helped me. I would like to say,
Hmm.
I can't drop the armor because I don't know who else is going to come behind me or who else is following you. But what I can do is that I can let you in and I can protect you from whoever is coming after you. Right.
Hmm.
And I think I just kind of lived my life that way.
Yeah.
It was like no
Well,
matter
it was
what.
fight, flight, you know,
Right. And I don't know how to
freeze,
run.
spawn.
Yeah, I don't know
There's
how to
all those
run though.
responses. Yeah.
I don't know how to run. It's like when it came down to it, it was like, oh, you want to fight? Let's go. The bigger the
And
better.
it probably had a past life as a warrior, soldier, something like that
I
as
never
well.
understood, man. I never
Yeah.
understood. I used to think, honestly, for the longest time, I used to think that I had to be some sort of bad dude because all my life, all of these different things that happened, and I was like, what am I paying for now? Right?
Mm,
It was
mm,
because it was like a sequence of events
yeah.
that I couldn't explain. It was as if not only am I dealing with the karma that's coming from me, but I'm also dealing with karma that has been passed through generations, and I don't understand where it's coming from, and which was one of the reasons why I chose to be alone.
Hmm.
I was okay. I had told myself, I think I was around 17 years old. I told myself I just want to be left alone. I had gone through so much in those 17 years. I just wanted to be left alone. And someone asked me, they because I didn't talk to anyone. They said, "You don't talk to anyone." And I just looked at them. They were like, "You probably just don't care to be around anyone." And that was the first time I ever said, "I could care less if I ever see another human being." And I walked away and I began to wander into the mountains. And I was actually looking for a cave. I was actually looking for a cave. I was okay with going into a cave and just being there for the rest of my life, not being bothered with anyone for anything. I think some of it had to do with me being afraid.
Hmm.
Um, and then another part of it was,
Well,
know,
you had to transmute all of that
right,
crap. And
right.
that's part of it too. People are like, why am I stuck? Or why don't I want to be around people right now? I'm like, because you need to assimilate everything that's happened to you or whatever's been going on. You need that space. You can call it hermiting or hermit or whatever it is. And yeah, go into your cave or that's why I love being in nature because
Yes.
that's where everything changes. All that energy, darkness, whatever, shadow eating, we are shadow eaters, goes back into Mother Earth for a reason. And I work with crystals as well. They're very, yeah, very sacred. I mean, we are part of the crystalline grid.
This is very true. This is very,
Hmm.
very true. Wow. It, wow. Christine, I want to say thank you for such an amazing conversation.
Oh,
This
thank
has
you.
been very
My
intuitive,
pleasure.
and I love talking with you. Oh my God, we got many more conversations to come, I'm sure.
Oh, we do.
So much more to unpack there, man. So much more to unpack, and so again, thank you. And if you could tell people where they can find you.
Lots of places. Medium Christine Gold across social media. YouTube is my main space, but Christine.gold is my website. It's pretty easy.
Okay. And your podcast, what's the name of your podcast?
Heart led, soul fed.
And where is that? Is that primarily on YouTube or are you crossing?
Yeah, I've got it on YouTube, but I've got it on Spotify, all over Apple, Google.
Awesome, awesome. People, that information will be set down below. So people go check her out, man. Um, you got to understand, I got tingles on the back of my neck right now just speaking with you, which is truly amazing. A lot of things that's going on right now. And whoa. um,
Divine setup, Tony.
yes,
Divine
yes,
setup.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. If you had any words to tell anybody right now, what would you tell them?
Something I learned myself. You're here for a reason. You matter. You're worthy and you have purpose.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Wow. For anybody tuning in that's going to be watching this, just remember, man, you guys take the time, heal, go through the journey. You guys, and reach out to people. Reach out to Christine. She's amazing. I'm pretty sure that, I'm almost certain she got a lot of things that she can give you that's going to help you and everything. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm just full of just goosebumps and energy. Just speaking with her. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Grief Let's Talk About It podcast. And you guys already know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, go check her out, go to her YouTube channel, check that out as well. And be sure to leave us a comment. And until next time, you guys keep your head up, stay safe, peace.